Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR365.com and PodWeather.com with an update on the tropics. And to start hurricane season 2009 a few days early, we have a new tropical depression out there. This is TD1 and it's sitting right here in the North Atlantic Ocean, spinning northeastward. It's not going to be a threat to any land masses, especially not the east coast of the United States. Here's the latest on it as of 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It was at 37.3, 71.0. Winds were 35 miles per hour, gusting to 45. Again, it's moving quickly northeast at 17, 1,007 millibars. And it should become a tropical storm later today and tonight, and then by tomorrow be continuing off northeastward and not be a threat to land, weakening to a depression by Sunday, not having to deal with it as it moves up into the North Atlantic. But it should become our first named storm, which will be Anna. And again, that track is not very uncertain. It appears pretty likely that it's going to continue at least somewhere within this cone of what is usually uncertainty, but with this storm it's certainty. There's the visible satellite imagery as the sun comes up, and again you can see it clearly. The center is a little bit displaced from the center of the deep convection, probably a little bit up here, and jettisoning on off to the northeast. On the infrared satellite imagery, you can see it just a bit better there as the convection blows up there. Not very deep convection, but nevertheless blowing up over the top of the circulation center. So that is something that we're watching. Now again, the track is pretty straightforward here. It should continue generally to the northeast, although some models here start to kind of take it. The Canadian here kind of bends it off a little bit to the south, and then other models do the same. So we're going to have to wait and see if that happens. Whether or not what will be Anna gets stuck around here a little bit, we'll have to wait and see on that. The sea surface temperatures, as far as is concerned, are pretty warm over the Gulf Stream. You can see here very, very hot near Florida, all the way up the Gulf Stream, but you can see these cooler waters as soon as you hit Cape Hatteras, and it is heading towards those, which is why we have not seen the deep convection really burst red or gray or anything that would indicate more strengthening than maybe 40-45 mile an hour storm. There's the upper level winds, and you can see the wind shear over it right now is pretty low, so it should have an opportunity to strengthen before it hits those high wind shear values. You can see most of the Atlantic still under very high wind shear. Better look at it there. Look at the Caribbean Sea, 80 knots of wind blowing here, but 5 knots over the top of our system. That indicates the likelihood of strengthening over the next few hours. There's the water vapor imagery, very moist all around the system. You can see it is a little ball there, but it is looking like it's going to become a tropical storm. Here come those winds pushing it this direction, and the flow ahead of it should continue to push TD1 right out to sea, so we're not going to have to deal with it. Now, is it a harbinger of things to come? It's been mentioned. Could this mean we have an active season? Well, seasons past with storms in this region, 1932, you can see that was a very active season. We had a Category 5 hit the Abaco Islands. We had a Category 4 slam into Cuba and a Category 4 slam into Texas. We also had a storm in May that year. 1951, we had a Category 5 also turn out to sea. Hurricane Abel was actually a major hurricane in May. We also had Cat 4 Hurricane Charlie, I believe it was, or was it Hurricane Howe? I'm not quite sure on that, but it hit Mexico as a Category 3 or 4 as Hurricane Charlie, a different Charlie. And so it was pretty damaging down there in the Caribbean. 1970, pretty quiet year, although we did have a major hurricane named Celia hit Texas. And then, of course, 1972, we had many storms out to sea, many subtropical storms, and one of them was in May. So is it necessarily a sign of things to be active? Well, not necessarily, but this hurricane season is expected to be at least average, and anything can happen. So that's the latest on TD1. Stay tuned to IPR365.com for the latest.